when I first started in real estate, when I first started buying houses and properties in order to rent them out and make money, I was just hoping that the market would take over for me, and over long periods of time, real estate values would go up and I would make more money. Fast forward 4 or 5 years, the Great Recession happened. And I realized one thing. I was not going to rely on the market to increase the value of my real estate. I was going to take personal ownership of the value of my real estate going up. Does that mean I don't want my real estate to go up naturally because of inflation? Absolutely not. I definitely want that. But I look at that as the cream on top of the cream. So how do I drive the value of my real estate higher? Very good question. Very simple. Think about it this way. When you buy a piece of real estate, let's say you buy an apartment building or a single family home for real estate. Now with a single family home, it might be harder because you're going to run comps on the property to see what you can sell it for. But when it comes to a small apartment building, it's going to go based on one thing and one thing only. What income does the property generate? So if that's the way you're going to look at it, how do you drive up the value of the property? You increase the income. There are 2 ways to increase income on a property. Ready? This is rocket science, guys. Revenue up, expenses down. These are the 2 ways. Well, I've got great news for you. If you're an active rehabber of your property, revenue will go up and your expenses will go down. You'll get both ends of the stick. Let me explain how. So let's say you buy a property, and we're going to call it 1-unit property. And it generates $1,000 a month in rent, okay? And let's say the profit is, and I'm putting hypotheticals out here, $200 a month. At the end of the day, $200 a month in profit times 12 equals $2,400 a year in profit. Okay, so you're sitting at $2,400 a year in profit, right? Very simple. So what's somebody willing to pay you for that? Well, let's say hypothetically, there's a thing called cap rate. What cap rate does, it takes the income of the property, so $2,400, and it divides it by an interest rate. What's the interest rate? It's that cap rate. It's the return you would get if you paid cash for the property. So let's say you wanted to get a 6% return on your property. So I'm going to show you the math here. 2,400 divided by 0.06, $40,000. That means your property is worth $40,000 to you. Okay, great. How else do you do it? If you buy a $40,000 property and you want to generate 6% return, you have to find a property that makes $2,400 a year. Very simple. So let's keep this $40,000 in mind. So you have this property that you paid $40,000 for that collects $1,000 a month in rent and generates $200 a month in profit. You're getting a 6% return. So how do you drive that up? Okay, well, let's say hypothetically, the property's 30 years old and hasn't been renovated since then. 95% of our viewers watching this video are men. Men, go out there and ask the females in your life. When you view a property, what are you looking for? Kitchens and bathrooms, cleanliness. That's what you're looking for, okay? So here's some advice. Go renovate the kitchens and bathrooms. So let's say hypothetically, you decide to renovate some kitchens and bathrooms and you put $12,000 into the property, okay? But guess what? Now that you have the nicest kitchens and the nicest bathrooms in the area, you're now generating another $200 per month in rent, okay? $200 per month in rent, hypothetically. Now, spoiler alert, we do get this or more on our properties now that we renovate, okay? So we get $200 a month in rent. So before, you were getting $1,000 a month and you were generating $200 in profit. So you had $800 a month in expenses, okay? For $200 in profit. But now you get $1,200 a month in rent. What are your expenses now? Hey guys, here's a little secret. They might actually go down. Why? You get a better tenant because they're paying more for the property. They valued what you did to the property. You probably put some work in electrical and plumbing that probably is going to save you maintenance issues. You're probably going to do other work like drywall work that makes the property better. But let's hypothetically say the expenses stay the same. Now you're getting $400 a month in profit, right? So instead of making $200 a month, you're making $400 a month times 12 equals $4,800 a year. Remember before, you were generating $2,400 a year. Applying that same 6% return, now your property is worth $80,000. 4,800 divided by 6%. You've doubled the value of your property. You spent $12,000, so you have a net investment of $68,000, less your $40,000 initial purchase, you have profit of $68,000 minus $40,000, $28,000. So not only are you generating more profit in the property per year, you also have $28,000 more in value on the property above your purchase and rehab costs. This is the whole entire thesis behind generating extra wealth, tax-deferred wealth, because you're not taxed on this until you sell the property, and generating extra cash flow on your property, driving it up. Now, I'm going to go one step further. It gets even better than that, okay? Now, one thing I want to keep in mind, guys, I want you to realize nothing in this world is easy. Nothing in this world, things are simple, but they're not easy. It still takes effort to go in there and find the right property, find the right crews, and do all these things. They're going to help you find these deals. But remember, your goal should be to buy one property per year. And at the end of this video, I will tell you the next video to watch in order to see how much money you can actually make doing this. But here is the biggest thing. You bought that property for $40,000. And please, again, don't think when I say this, I'm just using these hypotheticals. I know you can't really buy a property for $40,000, right? But these numbers will all be across the board. And the point is, as long as you can find a property that generates you 6% return on that, or 7%, where it covers the mortgage and gives you an ample return, that's what matters to you. Okay, so you bought it for $40,000. Let's say you put $25% down, minus 25% down payment. So you have a mortgage of $30,000, and you invested $10,000, right? Because you put $25,000 down payment. Well, now you did the rehab work, and your property's worth $80,000. You can go to the bank and say, "Hey, bank, I now have a property worth $80,000 because I've doubled my income." And they'll do an appraisal and say, "Yes, you are correct." And they're going to give you another 75% mortgage. They're now going to give you a $60,000 mortgage. So what happens with that $60,000 mortgage? You're paying off your first mortgage, and you're paying back essentially your investment. The rehab cost is $12,000. You're going to get back $18,000 extra on top of your original mortgage. Oh, and by the way, you also paid back your down payment. You're going to get $8,000 in extra cash above your initial mortgage, down payment, and investment in the property, plus $8,000. Ready for this one? Tax-free. Why? Because in order for them to charge you tax, there has to be some sort of sale event that happened. There was no sale here. It was a refinance. So you got your entire investment back plus $8,000 to go do it again. So now you have your $10,000 you did before. You have your $12,000 you did as rehab. That's $22,000 plus the $8,000. You're given $30,000 extra dollars to go do this again. Remember, if before you did it on $10,000, now you can do it 3 more times. That's the key. And it's very, very simple, but not easy. But that is the key how you build long-term wealth. The example I'm going to give you, I do it all the time now. We do it so many times now, and I can give you countless stories about it. Buying a property for $3 million, putting $5 or $6 million into it, now worth $22 to $23 million, just 7-8 years later. We bought a property in 2015, and literally I could do it over and over and over again. That's the only properties we buy are ones we can do this to. I will not buy a turnkey property. Why? Because I love renovating. I love making it better. And guess what? My goal is to be the nicest property on the street and the most expensive property on the street. Do not try to be the cheapest property. Go put in the good stuff. And for you guys out there who are handymen, this is even better for you. I am not a handyman. This is princess hands right here. I hire people to do this for me. If you can do the work yourself, you're going to make even more money. That's the key to all of this. Long-term wealth creation. If you can do this, you can easily get 15, 20% returns a year. You have to be picky up front, be ready to jump on it when you find the right deal, but don't just run to deals to do them. Be very cautious. So if you like this video and you want to learn more about this, watch our next video where I talk about how you can invest $25,000 a year into real estate to get a net worth of over $10 million 30 years from now. Thank you very much for your time. Please subscribe to the channel.